Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment. Today is April 28th, 2023, and what's left of the Yankees will take on the Texas Rangers in Game 2 of a 3-game set behind Clarke Schmidt against Jacob deGrom. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
If you follow this podcast, by now you've heard of Game Time. It's the fastest growing ticket app in the world for a reason. What Game Time is an app that allows you to buy last-minute tickets to local events at the lowest rate possible. So let's say the Yankees have an off night and you decide, hey, I want to go catch a comedy show. I want to go see a band play. I want to go see a hockey game. You just hop on the Game Time app and you can get a really good deal very quickly and save a lot of money. Use the code NYY Recaps to save even more money because you'll get $20 off your first purchase. I recently used it. I try not to have ads for anything that I don't endorse personally, and I gotta say, it's a great experience. It's very simple to use. Use the code NYY Recaps on the Game Time app and get the lowest price on last-minute tickets guaranteed. How's it going, everybody? First of all, happy birthday to Anthony Volpe. Your present was you get to pinch hit and make the last out of the game. Unreal.
Postgame show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
I'm going to keep this moderately brief tonight because I know none of you want to experience this abomination of a baseball game again. So I'm not going to even really give you the blow-by-blow of the recap. This is going to be another episode where we take your comments more so than anything. But I do have a few takeaways from tonight that I want to go over. Takeaway number one, Franchy Cordero is a downgrade from Aaron Judge, just in case anybody was wondering. Truly staggeringly bad defense tonight. I'll tell you what, Franchy Cordero makes Aaron Hicks look like Willie Mays in the outfield. That was horrendous. Some truly astonishing lack of defensive talent from a Major League Baseball player. And nobody knows precisely how much longer we're going to have to deal with this experiment. The latest Aaron Judge news is that we're all waiting for an MRI on his hip. The results should come in. They might even come in during the post game today. He said he was feeling much better, but I'm personally not that optimistic. Anytime you hear MRI tube, it's usually a problem. And as I mentioned yesterday, I have zero confidence in the Yankees doctors to, one, diagnose this injury correctly, or two, hasten the healing process. They've given us no reason at all to be confident whatsoever. So tonight we had Franchy Cordero in right field, and seriously, embarrassingly bad defensive showing. We're finding out why some of these guys have gotten released every 15 minutes for the last 5 years. Unreal. Takeaway number two. The pitching matchup of Clarke Schmidt versus Jacob deGrom went about as expected. Clarke Schmidt got beaten like a piñata, and Jacob deGrom injured himself in the fourth inning. Both of these things were entirely predictable, and I don't remember word for word how it went, but I'm pretty sure we predicted both of those outcomes on this show last night. Listen to me, Brian Cashman. Listen to me, Aaron Boone. I'm going to look in the camera. Clarke Schmidt is not a starting pitcher. Period. It's over. The guy just can't get out lefties. Had trouble with righties tonight, too. Did have 8 strikeouts, but 10 hits allowed. Unreal. Now, he didn't get a lot of help from his defense, but he was throwing meatballs like he was in a food fight. This guy is just not a major league caliber starting pitcher. The Yankees need to address the rotation depth now, pronto. This is looking like a bigger and bigger blunder by Cashman every single day to not get any depth. I'll tell you what, that Montas trade, that's a gift that keeps on giving, huh? This one was over fast. It was 5-0 Rangers early on. Glimmer of hope for the Yankees when DeGrom had to be removed from the game in the fourth. Yankees began to chip away. They got a couple of runs. RBI single from Higashioka. And Willie Calhoun had his third RBI of the year on a sac fly. But other than that, there was nothing fun about this game at all. Excellent diving catch by Oswaldo Cabrera in the 6th inning. But I could have done without the celebrating down 5-2. I could have done without Clark Schmidt fist pumping after a big strikeout down 5-0. Frankie put it well. That is a loser's mentality. Epic Warrior says Cordero should be DHing since they don't like Calhoun's defense. He clogs up the DH, and the Schmidt experiment should end. 100%. All of those things are correct. And Jones says, wait, he had 8 strikeouts? Yeah, he had the swing and miss pitch working today. But that just goes to show you that strikeouts are not everything. He has a 6.84 ERA this season. He only had 1 walk. He was throwing strikes, but that's the difference between strikes and quality strikes that we've been trying to tell you. You can't throw the ball down the middle. Bob Tremblay with a nice donation. Appreciate that, Bob. Thank you very much. Next time, type something out. We'll read it on the screen. Frankie said he had a headache today, and this didn't help. This is one of those days that it gives you a headache because you bang your head against the wall watching it. I mean, this cannot reasonably be considered a playoff team at this point. I mean, especially right now with all the injuries, there's just no way. But even if you get guys back, we're just seeing so much lethargy. Awful. Mark Stenrue says Hicks has 1 RBI this year. Well, it's April 28th, so he's had a month. So he's on pace for 6. That seems about right. Right?
Absolutely. Hey.
0 for 3 for Hicks tonight, hitting 135. You guys want to look at the batting order or the, whatchamacallit, box score? I got to pull down a quick video. Hang on just a second. And we will take a look here. All right, so LeMahieu 0 for 4 tonight, hitting 265. Rizzo 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. Torres 0 for 4. Steady diet of sliders on the outside corner from Torres, and he keeps trying to pull them. We've seen him take that pitch and go to right field with it. I don't know why he doesn't learn from that and just keep doing it. Calhoun 1 for 3 with a RBI sac fly, hitting 235. He actually had some good swings tonight. He got all of one in his final at bat, and I thought it was going 10 rows deep, but then I remembered it was Willie Calhoun, and it got caught about 10 feet in front of the warning track. Peraza 1 for 4. He hit some balls hard. He bobbled one on defense, but they keep talking about his quality of at-bats and his level swing. I would just like it to start translating into some hits. 1 hit tonight that snapped a big slump. Cabrera 1 for 4. He had a double, also made a nice diving catch. Cordero, hey, get down, cat. Cat's climbing up the wall. Cordero 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, hitting 151, 578 OPS. Volpe got to pinch hit and fly out. That was a brain dead move. Nice job, Boone. Awful. That pisses me off. I guess he wanted to play on his birthday, but send him in to make the final out. Ridiculous. X-Wing says the Yankees are exactly who we thought they were. 4th place team at best. I guess we'll see. It is bad. Ian says top 3 are 800 plus OPS and the rest are below 500. Excellent observation. Guys, I'm going to keep this brief tonight, so let's take your comments. I'm just going to get right into your comments. And, I'll let you guys have your rant. I've pretty much ranted out this week. And matter of fact, I'm thinking about taking a day off this weekend. We've worked a lot of days in a row here. This is my 3rd podcast of the day. So I could use a day to take the wife out to the movies or something like that. So Rayrard says, you already see the Rays, Jays, and Astros as postseason teams, and the Rays being stomped by Houston once again, no matter how many they win during the regular season. Yeah, the Astros, they have that postseason pedigree, right? They play well when the calendar flips over. Frankie says, benching Volpe on his birthday was a criminal act. I felt like if you want to challenge the kid, let him get in there and face DeGrom. This is what the best big league pitcher in terms of stuff looks like. See what you can do with it. Find out. They must have known it was a bad matchup for him. Yulei says, guys, chill out. The Yankees have a winning record. I'm sure he's being facetious, but, we do hear a lot of apologies on social media for this team. Apologies for Cashman. This is the culmination of a lot of moving parts from years in the past, from, not getting lefties, not drafting well, not developing starting pitching, making bad trades, giving out bad contracts. I have no clue how this man has remained the general manager of the Yankees. It blows my mind. Jack Wagner says Franchi needs Tommy Mansky tapes. This is the instructional video that gets results. No, wait, let me fix my hat so I can do it like Fred McGriff. He wears his hat really high. This is the instructional video that gets results. Parks has said this was a punt lineup. Well, if you're going to punt, Jacob deGrom is the guy to punt against, but he was out in the fourth inning and the Yankees still did nothing. So Matt says Judge's MRI came back. Christopher DeRazio says Judge is day-to-day. Not a big deal, says Boone. Thank God. Tyler dropping a truth bomb says the Astors are far better than us. That's correct, those Astors. Frankie says, so now the Yankees care about bad matchups when Aaron Hicks is a bad matchup against everyone. Aaron Hicks is clearly done. Like, you can tell every once in a while when somebody just needs to retire. I mean, you remember Jay Bruce a couple of years ago? Some of you will remember Stephen Drew. There's been a lot of guys that have come through the Yankees roster that you felt like they were done. I feel like Hicks has been done for a couple of years now. But he's not alone. There's a number of guys on that roster that I feel like Franchi, I don't see him as a big league player. Not at this point. He ran into a couple of home runs early this season. But guy can't hit a curveball and can't catch a fly ball. What's he doing on a Major League Baseball roster? Louie with the dono again says, on a better note, I distracted myself from that horrendous game by going to your site and getting 2 hoodies, a cap, a beanie, and a mug. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and give you the who. Doug Brow says, Troy Tulowitzki. Now, this is going to be a fun game. Post in the chat a Yankee who you felt like was completely done by the time they got to the Yankees, because there's a lot of them. We can do this for a while. So Doug says Troy Tulowitzki. I think he made it like 2 or 3 games. He hit 1 home run, I think, into the porch. Was awful. Polish American says Chris Carter. And I couldn't agree with that more. That guy was completely done. He had just hit 40 home runs, I think, the season before, but did absolutely nothing with the Yankees. Was completely done. He looked at, honestly, the closest thing that we've seen to that is Joey Gallo last year. Joey Gallo turned it around. I don't think Chris Carter ever had another good year again. John Bloom says Jacoby Ellsbury. Now, to Ellsbury's credit, when he first got to the Yankees, he wasn't bad. But you knew when they signed that contract and gave him $100 and some odd million that he was never going to be the guy he was in Boston. It was an overreaction to losing Robinson Cano. And man, that contract killed him for a while. Epic Warrior says, thanks for putting out great content. Been watching the recaps for 2 years. It's not easy doing what you do on the content creator side. You got that right, my friend.
Absolutely. Hey.
Since when did you get so smart?
Appreciate that. Vernon Wells. You know, Vernon Wells had a great first month, and everybody thought he was, going to have a resurgent year, but then it just fell apart once the calendar, turned over to May. I mean, I might be a little bit off with my timing, but essentially he had a very hot start and then just stunk the rest of the summer. Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco actually got a World Series ring with the Yankees, and then he sold it, I believe. 2000. And he's one of the reasons that they started putting in that clause in the contract that if you win a ring, you have to offer it back to the team for $1 before you sell it. That's partially due to Jose Canseco. Yule says, Randy Johnson. So, Randy Johnson was clearly done. What's interesting, though, is he was great the year before, and he pitched for 2 years with a herniated disc. Like, he legit was in pain a lot of the time with the Yankees, but he never had those big strikeout numbers. I think he only struck out 10 guys maybe 2 or 3 times as a Yankee. If you go back and look at his game logs on Baseball Reference, you'll see before he got to the Yankees, 13, 14 strikeouts, 5 or 6 times a year. Now, part of that was he got to face the pitcher. Comes over to the American League, lineups are a little tougher, pressure's a little more, and he was older. The zip on his fastball wasn't there his final year, his first year with the Yankees. It had gone from being 98, 99 miles an hour to really more 95, 96, which made him a little bit more hittable. Guys were fouling off those pitches. They were able to lay off the slider a little bit. Wasn't quite as snappy. So, yeah, he was done. Got a Josh Donaldson. You're not wrong. Carl Pavano. So Pavano actually had some good years after he left the Yankees. The problem with Pavano was that he basically stole money from the Yankees. He took 4 years of a salary and basically only pitched like 4 or 5 times. Alexander, I'm going to push back a little bit on this one. He says Andrew Jones, and I actually think that Andrew Jones was pretty good with the Yankees. He had some good numbers there. I remember he had a streak there where he hit some big home runs. James says A.J. Burnett. Again, he helped the Yankees in the 2009 World Series, so you kind of forgive the next year. But yeah, he was on the way down. Mark Reynolds is a good addition. Eric Chavez. So I remember Chavez having some big hits too, but again, he wasn't the same player that he was with the A's. But ELT might have the best. Kevin Brown. If you look at his numbers with the Dodgers before he came to the Yankees, they were really good. He had a sub-3 ERA, and then I believe he got off to a 3 or 4-0 start with the Yankees, but then just completely fell apart. Late in that season, that first year, I think it was the only year he was with the Yankees, he got taken out of a game and he punched a wall and broke his hand. And after that, I think he was completely done. Mike Bragg says Kevin Youkilis.
Absolutely. Hey.
Tommy Higgs, recent member, says Mike Ford and Chris Gittin. So Mike Ford, to be fair, was a quadruple A player. It wasn't like he was a long-time major leaguer that was past his prime. He just never had a prime. And then Chris Gittin's, same thing. He was a career minor leaguer. I don't even think he lasted a month in the major leagues. So, it is what it is. ELT says last iteration of Clemens was pretty bad. I believe he was 6-6 with a 4+ ERA. Lance Berkman had some big hits, but again, similar story. Great until he got to the Yankees. Didn't last much longer after that. Andrew McCutchen, I thought he actually had some good games with the Yankees, but again, he was another guy that MVP and then just couldn't get it going at the same level. But he passed his prime. So there's a lot of these, a lot of washed up players in their last years with this team. I mean, we just spent 5 minutes on it. So, all right, guys.
Game over, man.
We're going to wrap this up. Frankie Baseball, comment of the night, says Aaron Boone, definitely one big swing, and that was it. Can't believe I did 3 podcasts today.
You gotta go.
So we did one this morning with Julian of Dugout Station, talked about Somerset Patriots. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. And then me and Pete talked about the injury problem before the game, and now 3rd podcast of the night. So I am going to call it a night and get some rest. I might take tomorrow off. We'll see. All right, guys. You guys have a good one.
Hey, everybody. If you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member.
Join us.
It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed. Ball game over.
Most impressive.